just like we talked about on Monday, you can always like take a minute and adjust your footing. Then we'll lower the left knee down. So as you come into your lunge, you want to make sure that your front foot is far enough forward that your knee is lined up over the foot. So this is part of that bone stacking that's going to give you that strength in the pose. And if you'll remember from Monday as well, if you tuck those back toes under, you have more strength in that back leg. So bring your right hand up onto your knee. We're going to sweep your left fingertips to the sky. Press against your right knee to help you lift up in the pose. Pressing into the earth, engage the strength of your legs as you reach that left hand high. Extend your right arm up alongside the left, then gently begin to curl your heart up towards the sky. Just a baby back bend. Engaging the strength of your legs as you slowly open your heart. We'll exhale and gently float your hands back down to the floor. Glide your hips back, extending your right leg straight. So again, we have the hip lined up over the knee. The knee and the left and right leg are hip distance apart. Let's inhale to lift and extend through your spine. And I'm just going to take a moment to get a little anatomy science on you. So when your hamstrings are really tight, it's natural that the tailbone wants to go down because these are pulling. The hamstrings are attached at the sitting bone. So when you lift your tailbone up, it actually increases the stretch in your hamstring. If you lengthen through your spine, reaching your heart forward, even more stretch. So you may be feeling that there. So really bring in that activation, awaken the pose, drawing your hips back, lift your heart up. Then we're going to open your right fingertips towards the sky. See if you can maintain that strong alignment, pressing up and out of the left shoulder, working a strong hand, pressing into the earth. Twist your shoulders around, stacking the right shoulder over the left shoulder, bringing your spine into alignment. You may be able to start to rotate your gaze towards your right fingertips. Take a deep breath in, twist into your pose. Then as you exhale, we'll gently release, floating the right hand back down. Shift forward back into your lunge, and we're going to open into our triangle pose. So lift the back knee, spin your left heel flat down to the floor, and just like we talked about Monday, now your heels should pretty much be in one straight line to each other. Now right here, before you do anything else, you've got the foot down, you've got the right toes forward, lift up and extend through your spine. So we're just going straight into that nice long spine. Then from here, slowly start to open your left fingertips to the sky. So we just take that one step to lengthen out the spine first, so that as you open into your triangle pose, it's like both sides of your waist are lengthened. So a lot of times in triangle pose, I see like this candy cane variation. So if your right side love handles are all kind of squished up underneath you, see if you can lift up through the right side rib cage and lengthen out through your waist. Then open your left fingertips to the sky and feel your pose come alive. Yeah. Let's rise and come all the way up. If you're feeling good, I'm feeling a little out of breath, but maybe that's just because I'm talking. Okay, we're gonna move into our warrior pose. So I want you to start to lunge into that right knee. And again, this is where that bone stacking comes in. You wanna have the knee lined up over the ankle. And the front of the knee should be in alignment with the midline of the foot. So if your knee is rolling in or out, stabilize through your foot. Anchor into the earth, engaging the strength of your legs. Line up the pose. Then check in with this back leg. You should root down through the outer edge of your foot so there's a little lift in the inner arch. Then draw the muscles up onto the bones. We really hug the muscles in. Lift up out of your waist, engaging the strength of your core. Roll your shoulders down your back as you extend your arms out towards the side. This is a strong warrior pose. Let's take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, reverse your pose, reaching those right fingertips up and back. You can let your left hand float down to your leg. Try to be careful of your knee. You want to go above or below the knee. Then we're going to windmill your hands all the way down to the floor. Whoo, big circle. All the way back down. Spin your left heel back up towards the sky. Press against the earth with your hands, and we're going to sweep that right leg up and back. Open it up. Stack your right hip open over the left hip, bending into your right knee. Now this is a great chance to look back at that left leg. What happened? Did your ankle go sideways or go out of alignment? Did your knee start to quiver? See if you can stabilize the strength and the alignment of that supporting left leg, giving you more strength to open the right hip even more, maximizing your stretch. Then we'll slowly release and float your right foot back down to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale and slowly lower your knees back down to the floor. Sink your hips to your heels and take a little child's pose. So you want to take this time to come back to your breath. Come back to your center. And I know we've mentioned this before, that even though we're not doing like a long list of poses, just a few poses, but when you really call upon the awakening of the pose, when you really engage and energize the pose, there's so much that happens there. So just feel your heart beating in your chest. Come back to your deep, fluid breath. Then as you're ready, you can press yourself back up into a tabletop position. Let's just mobilize the spine a little bit here. Just a few little rounds of breath to just stretch and move your spine any way that it wants. Okay, then we're going to press back up into your down dog. So just finding your way there. Reaching your heels towards the earth, anchoring your toes, rooting through your hands and fingers. Draw those hips high and open through your pose. Then we'll slowly walk your feet forward, coming back into that forward fold. Slide your hands up onto your shins, stabilizing through your legs. Let's inhale and extend the spine long. So your legs are like two towers. As you exhale, release and fold your body down. Then we're going to slowly roll your spine all the way back up to standing. So slowly just come into that meditation. It's like this. The sacrum becomes the root. Then the spine, each vertebrae slowly stacks one on top of the other. It's like a little seed germinating out of the earth. slowly unfurling itself until your head is the last thing that eventually comes on top. And just notice here, how does one side feel different than the other? Just make a little mental note. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart. Root down through your feet, through your toes and your heels. Lift up on the inner arch of your foot and draw that energy all the way up your legs. Lift up out of your hips. Lift up out of your waist. Press your palms together as you roll your shoulders down your back and extend that energy all the way up your heart and all the way up through the crown of your head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, feeling a deeper connection to the earth. Then on your next inhale, we'll stretch the arms high, breathing in as you extend those fingertips up, 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 up. We'll exhale and dive your body forward, stabilizing through your legs, giving you the strength that you need to fold your body down. You can bend your knees right to left, shifting your weight side to side. Okay, then we'll come back to center and make your way towards your plank pose. So start with the strong foundation in the hands, pressing into the earth. Then begin to make your way back, stepping your feet to the back edge of your mat. Now, you can always lower your knees for sure. But if you keep your knees lifted, especially, we want to hug the muscles onto the bone. Tone the strength of those legs. Lift your heart and lift your head. Then draw your weight forward, shifting your heart towards the front edge of your mat. Then everybody go ahead and lower your knees to the floor. All right. Let's sit your hips back. I'm going to just take a talking moment, and I don't want you to be in that half plank the whole time. So I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the alignment of Chaturanga in the architecture of Asana, okay? And I know some of you have heard this before, but it's always just good to reinforce in the brain. We're gonna practice our Chaturanga, and in that pose, the alignment we're really looking for is this. And I've seen a lot of different variations. People do all kinds of crazy things. Sometimes the elbow is way back here. Sometimes people come down way too far, putting strain on the shoulder. So the work that we're doing is to roll the shoulder back onto the back. So it's like tacked onto the back. We want to keep the chest broad. That's probably one of the most challenging parts. We want to roll it forward. So as we practice our Chaturanga, we're going to roll it back. And you want to have your weight far enough forward that your wrist, your elbow and your wrist are in alignment. So that's really the shape that we're going for. You don't want to be way back here because that's not very efficient. That's not efficient architecture, right? We want to be forward so that it's that bone stacking. And I just want to take a little side note and say that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get to that 90-degree angle with the shoulder back and the chest open. Like, it's very, very challenging. So if you're not there today, no worries. I would rather that you practice with good alignment and just slowly, slowly work your way deeper and deeper. So if you are just starting to build that strength and all you can do is just bend your elbows a little bit, that's awesome. Like, that's great. You should be proud of yourself because you're practicing good alignment. And that is going to move you so much further in your practice, so much faster. So, we're going to come into our plank pose. And we can go ahead and, let's just go into plank and I'll talk you through it. Okay, so spreading your fingertips wide, we press into the earth, rooting into the earth to find a sense of lift. You can lift the knees. Dig your toes into the earth and tone the strength of your legs. Lift up through your core. So just engage the strength of your abs. And then lift your heart and lift your head. Okay, now we're going to shift forward. Flexing at the wrists, shifting your heart forward, you can lower your knees down. So now we're set up. The shoulders are in front of the wrists. Stabilize through your legs. Let's take one more inhale and lift through your heart and your head. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows to any degree. But don't go lower than that 90 degrees, okay? So either hit 90 degrees or less. Then we're going to draw your hips back and do a little child's pose. Whew. Chaturanga is no joke, you guys. It's a serious pose. But when you get into that right alignment, you can feel how strong you need to be, and you can feel how strong it's going to help you to be. So let's try one more time. Let's inhale and shift forward back to your plank pose. You can tuck your toes under, lift through your legs. Hug your belly in, lift your heart and head, and shift your weight forward. Shoulders come in front of the wrists. Then you can lower your knees down or challenge to keep your knees lifted. That's awesome. We'll inhale to prepare. Roll your shoulders on your back. Keep them there as you exhale and slowly begin to lower into your chaturanga. Root down through your fingertips, dig into the earth. Then we're going to come all the way down onto your belly. You can bring your elbows on the mat and shake out your hands and wrists. So I know a lot of you were saying that practice we were doing on Monday, like fingertips onto the floor, was like, it's making my forearms and my hands so tired. But when we start doing things like Chaturanga, you see why we need to really cultivate that strength in the forearms and hands. So it's, there's just so much richness, even in, sun salutation like we did last week. So this practice will last you a lifetime for sure. All right, my friends, we are going to do a little cobra pose.